Oh, hello, and welcome to Adente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the U stands for evil.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories, most creepy and most pasta, and be critically silly doing it. And tonight we have Father's Love.
Speak for yourself.
What?
I mean, nothing.
Yeah, we're covering Father's Love. It is another one of the Wicker Saga stories. You might remember last time we covered a Wicker Saga story, we said we were going to cover the next one in the roster, which was Dreams of Inheritance. We got an email between then and now from Shadow Swimmer, from the author of these stories.
Hell yeah.
And they recommended that because Dreams of Inheritance is such a short story that we probably shouldn't do one as a standalone episode. And in fact, it actually works really well with another story down the line called Sins of the Father. So we'll be covering Dreams of Inheritance with Sins of the Father in the future. So we are moving on to the next one in the lineup, which is Father's Love. So, but before if you'd like to check out any of these stories from the Wicker Saga series, you can go to creepypasta.wiki and check them out there. And of course, they are all by Shadow Swimmer 77. So let's dive into this, starting with our initial recommendations. I'm going to conditionally recommend this one.
Fair.
Hard conditional recommendation.
Mm-hmm. Literally.
I'm going to not recommend this one.
Totally fair.
I'm going to partially recommend this one, conditionally so.
Yeah. Well, let's dive into the rundown and find out why we're so tentative about this one.
Mm-hmm.
So, Graydon Marks, founder of Marks Pharmaceuticals, from some previous Wiki Saga series.
It's really close to saying that.
From some previous Wicker Saga stories series, has a daughter who is dying. Ironically, no known medical treatment or scientific breakthrough has any effect on the cancer that is eating away at this 5-year-old girl, or at his 5-year-old girl. Things have gotten so bad, in fact, that even her mother, Olivia, has left Graydon and Rebecca in grief of the inevitable end of their daughter. But then a devilish fellow by the name of Creed makes himself known to Graydon and proposes a deal. Love for love and life for a death. He can magically cure the child on some conditions, of course. The first is that Marks must do a favor for Creed's mistress. The second part of the condition is a sacrifice must be offered up. Olivia, his Graydon's wife, and Rebecca's mom. Given the circumstances and the desperateness of the situation, Graydon agrees and is led to Rebecca's room by Creed, which actually opens up to some other place, a dark void-like dimension with floating platforms. It's here that the ritual is conducted, one in which a shadow beast consumes Rebecca. It then pours itself into Creed's body. Olivia is brought forth by cloaked acolytes and chained up between two pillars as Graydon and Creed
do things.
As Graydon and Creed, well, they sexually assault Olivia. Let's just not sugarcoat that.
Yeah.
From front to back. When things reach a climax, the shadow thing that was in Creed pours into Olivia, and Creed then digs out her heart and slits her throat for the sacrifice. What's left of Olivia is consumed by Shadow till nothing remains. The heart is then placed on a dais, and as it swells with light, becomes Rebecca, renewed and healthy. Then Creed tosses Graydon off the edge of the platform and into the void, where he eventually wakes up back in his home. Rebecca is cured. Olivia is found comatose. No, that's not how you... Olivia is
No, you're
found...
right.
No, is it comatose or comatose?
Comatose, I'm pretty sure.
For like past tense, because comatose sounds like it's like comatose, as in like I would love some comatose.
Yeah, it's not toast.
Yeah, no, I know.
Just found comatose is probably fine.
It's found. Yeah, Olivia is found comatose, alive, but no one home, and Graydon is left with this living daughter and the knowledge of what he did to get her back, as well as to wait for the favor he promised to fulfill, which he resolves to gladly pay. Finn. So yeah, that was Father's Love. And I suppose we should move on to everyone tolerates the Grand Inquisitions at this point. And I've got a couple that kind of stood out to me in this one. Going to start with this one here. The disease was unaffected, comma. The only casualty, my darling's golden hair. So I feel like there should be a second comma in there. So the disease was unaffected, comma. The only casualty, comma, my darling's golden hair.
Yeah, it does give it a little bit of room to breathe.
Yeah, because
Better
otherwise
pacing.
it's just like, yeah, the only casualty, my golden dog. Like I don't know, it's just like it. Like,
Yeah, no, you're right.
Need like a slight break.
Mm-hmm.
And then my last one here is this one. Focusing, I can barely distinguish the darkness around her has somehow taken on life, convalescing into the shape of an enormous humanoid beast. So I feel like there should have been something added between like around her and has somehow. So I it's like focusing, I can barely distinguish the darkness around her as it has somehow taken on life. So like add like as it has some, because it's like the way it's originally, it's like I can barely distinguish the darkness around her has somehow taken on life. It's like that doesn't make sense, or like there's something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I actually didn't see that one.
Yeah. But that is the end of my grammar inquisition. So, Mikey, D stands for evil.
I have a conjunction junction.
All right.
And next stop, Conjunction Junction. Doot doot.
But there's nothing anyone can do for her. It says something about my state of mind that I only become aware of the man sitting in the chair across from me when he pointedly clears his throat. And why would I do that? And contrary to your interest. But what other choice do you have? It can't be that easy. So simple. And the second, it will direct you. It is several long moments before I realize I too am screaming. It is a sacrifice many parents wish they could make. It isn't until now that I realize, through everything that has happened, I still hold the small white figure in my hand that Creed gave to me before going through the door. It seems to gently pulse with a soft warmth, somehow conveying to me what must be done. It glows with a faint etheric light. And yet, I knew the events of that night had occurred, whether in the reality I am accustomed to, or within some other strange existence, as soon as my hand happened upon the small white figure of a woman in my pocket. Finn.
Thank you for that G-rated version in synopsis of the story.
For sure. I like how at the start of that it's just talking about how like the guy needs to clear his throat, and then he responds to him by saying like, "You really should do that." Basically, it must be hard to like sit there basically not clearing your throat. It's basically how that sounded. Yeah. For those unaware, Mikey grabs all the sentences throughout a story that start with words that they probably shouldn't, like its, ends, or buts, strings them together in sentence with sometimes hilarious results. Basically to highlight that there's always better words to use.
All right, Gamer, what do we have for the grammar in yellow?
I got a couple, I believe. So this is at the intro, where it's just dialogue. It says, "You're being selfish, my dear." She gently caresses my cheek. "You're a good man, Graydon, and a great father." So my problem is here, in the moment when I just started reading this story, I had no idea who the she is in this. Like at first I'm like, is it Rebecca who's reaching up? Because like it kind of seems weird that they're talking about her like she isn't in the room with them, but she might be. I don't know. Which made me think like maybe she's sleeping or in a coma. Because at this point I have no idea who these characters are. But like maybe like she's too weak to speak, but she can like weakly move her arm up to like touch her cheek. I don't know. But then like at this whole point, it's not even clear on who Nair is and who Nair's gender is. But like given the statement that follows, it feels like Nair was the one who touched Graydon's cheek before speaking to him. That's what I thought anyways. So I'm basically chalking this up to needing it to change to like I gently touched his cheek. Or hell, like I gently touched her cheek, as in Nair saying goodbye to Rebecca before leaving, maybe. Otherwise, like again, at this point I don't know who this character is, but if Nair is male in this situation, maybe the knowledge of that is making this intro clearer for the person who's writing it, not the person who's reading it, because they already know the characters. Basically, the whole intro was confusing for me, and some clarification on the cheek touching needs to be done, apparently. We do eventually get the clarification when it clicks, like a few paragraphs down, that there's actually a perspective shift that's happening right after the dialogue, and it's switching. Like the intro was done in Olivia's eyes, and the main story is told through Graydon's eyes, but there's no clear distinction of that happening, right?
I'm gonna be honest. I already like. I didn't assume that like the character that was talking was female, except for the one that when it was talking about like you're being selfish, my dear.
No, that was
that
was Graydon responding to her.
Yeah.
The whole intro is oh God, I forgot her name. Is Olivia basically telling Graydon, the father, that she can't stay around while Rebecca dies.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I get that.
And then there's a perspective shift, but it doesn't show that there's a perspective shift at all.
It does actually.
Where?
It's italics. That entire dialogue.
So what?
I'm just saying, like it. Like usually people use italics to, like as like some kind of like signifier of like a different thing. Like a different it could be like a memory or something like that. And that's kind of what I took from the opening like dialogue, was that like this was like Graydon remembering like when his wife left them, because then the rest of the story is in first person present tense the entire time. So
also, I did not realize that the intro was all in italics, because fuck italics.
Yeah, no, again, like I actually had to like double like I have the wiki open right now, because like that's how I've been following when you guys do quotes, and I'm seeing it now. It's like, oh wait, that's all in italics. Nothing else is in italics. Not even like other dialogue. Oh, okay.
There actually is some dialogue later on that's in italics.
Okay.
Yep, the stuff that's speaking into his head. Regardless, this whole intro part with the dialogue. Yeah. The character I is the person saying I'm leaving Graydon, and then after all the dialogue, it goes, I entered the shadow stepped room. So I assumed we're still that same character. Oh, there's nothing that clearly says we're a different character until like we find out later on when like like it says, once I was unsure I wanted to be a father, but Olivia was insistent, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess. So who the hell are we now? And then
I see I see the confusion, but yeah, I didn't catch that. Like I didn't get that have that hang up when I read it.
So both of you
Yeah.
immediately understood after the dialogue that you are Graydon.
Well, I was confused too, but then reading further cleared the confusion. So,
Yeah.
but I'm on your side, gamer.
Okay.
Okay, fine, I'm the asshole, I guess.
I just
Cool.
don't understand how you got it immediately.
I just like
From the first paragraph of the normal dialogue.
I might not have gotten it immediately, but once I got to that part, I was like, once I understood, like, I was unsure I was a father, like to be a father, blah, 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 that stuff. Like once I got to that second paragraph after the initial dialogue, I just kind of, I guess I retroactively just like, okay, that makes sense, and then I'm done. Like I didn't bat an eye like you did. Like I didn't.
Yeah,
like,
I made it like my main point.
yeah, like I didn't like. This is not the hill I'm dying on.
Yeah. It's because like when I'm reading
It was
these, I
really
see it like very visually. So like
Yeah.
I've said it many times. I hate having to go back and redo scenes that I've already done in my head.
It's just but like that's such a common narrative device is like to go back and forth and like, and stuff. So, but
Yeah,
again,
but I hate
I know, and I understand. Like, yeah, from your point of view, like, yeah, I do get it now. It's taken years, but I understand your mentality.
Finally.
But like, yeah, I some people might get angry at that because of like they have the same kind of like perspective you have.
Yeah. But either way, that's my first one.
Yeah. Well, how would you? I guess yeah. How would you fix that? Like, did you go into that or?
Honestly, you could just put the once I was unsure I wanted to be a father like immediately instead of this entering the room, because we need to establish who it is first.
True. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
Mm-hmm. As long as the first, like, I'm not even saying the first sentence has to be an establishing shot, but the first paragraph should establish what's going on.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. It's someone entering a room that we eventually find out who it is. But the someone, if the previous dialogue didn't give us who I was, I wouldn't batted eye at it. But I know who I is. I is the mother of Rebecca.
Yeah.
So when I entered the shadow room, I was Rebecca until I suddenly became Graydon. I'm moving on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like from my perspective on this, like reading that, like I'm leaving Graydon, I kind of like that dialogue, like and seeing that it's italics and like and again like the other time the story uses italics is like again when something's like a thought process kind of thing in his head. I'm now seeing like that like this dialogue here was like a memory that Graydon was having of when his wife left them, and then we cut into the actual story in media res, at the where he's like entering the shadow steeped room, and the yeah, I do agree. Like there could be like some bit in there in the I entered the shadow steeped room, like having like where it clarifies that this is Graydon that's talking.
There could be a single line after the dialogue that says that memory will always haunt me.
Yes. That would clear it up.
Yeah, that memory will always haunt me. Why did she leave? Like, that clarifies, okay, the person who's leaving is not the person who said that. Great, moving on.
Or I entered the shadow steeped room as this memory haunted me. Like,
yeah,
like as I muddled, or as I like as I stewed over the memory in my head, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like some kind of like some sort of like descriptor or some kind of like just a small portion of a sentence to like again explain that this is Graydon that's being that's now narrating the rest of the story, not just like dialogue. Yeah,
because there's so little information here. I was like, how is A connected to B here? You know?
Yep.
Anyways, I'm moving on from there.
Okay.
Please let me move on.
Never. You're shackled to 2 pillars.
Great. Oh God, no! Please no.
You get behind him now.
No,
I'm
fuck.
Yeah, no, I'm stopping right now. That is, yeah.
Ninja vanish. I'm gone. So moving on. When we now talking about the other italics, when the like, I think it's Creed speaking into his head, or it might be his mistress. I don't know. But basically, there's italics that says she left. The voice in my head whines indistinguishably Wait, what word is that?
Honestly, so yeah, sorry.
Hang on, did I type this wrong or hang on? What word is that? The voice in my head whines
Insinuatingly.
Insinuatingly. There it is. There.
Yeah.
About my thoughts. So yes, italics. I noticed those ones. I hated them when they showed up.
Didn't even think. I don't know. So you brought up that you're not sure if this was Creed talking to his head or his mistress. Honestly, I just thought it was his inner monologue, or his inner voice, just kind of mulling over the idea of sacrificing his wife, and then his basically his conscience is she left, she abandoned her, you should totally just sacrifice this bitch.
You know what? You're probably right, but I wish there was something saying I thought.
Yeah. Or instead of the voice in my head, the voice in my head is sometimes sometimes refers to as your conscience. But yeah, it could have also just as easily said my conscience, or the devil on my shoulder kind of thing. But then you might get that construed as is the devil on his shoulder Creed, or
yeah, I saw it as someone speaking directly into his head just because of all the weird shit that was happening in front of him just now, and accepting a payment and stuff.
Yeah, and I get that, but honestly, I think this is actually one of those mundane moments where it's just it isn't this is actually something completely normal, completely mundane, not something supernatural inserting it. Although it might be, honestly, it could also just as easily be Creed being a demon again, being a devil, kind of the way this story is portraying this whole situation, and subtly manipulating his mind to accept the deal.
Yep. But either way, regardless, italics suck. They should just be in bold or something.
Especially the italics on this website.
Yeah,
they need to be a few more degrees.
Yeah, I never noticed them, and it bothers me.
I know. We all know, gamer.
Yeah.
Dozens of voices of our audience. There's we know, gamer.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, that's it.
Fair enough. All right. I suppose we should move on to actual thoughts then. So, going to start with this one here. Months later, all traditional treatments were exhausted, including 2 new drugs my own pharmaceutical company had only recently developed. So this is Graydon Marks, owner of Marks Pharmaceutical Company, from previous stories that we've covered in the Wicker Saga series. I'm guessing this is sort of an origin, or his POV of the experiments his company was conducting from things like In a Bad Night. And that was what I said. That's what I thought up as I was reading the story and taking down my notes. And then after reading the story, I was oh, this is kind of more or less, this is sort of more or less an origin of how he got from being just the owner of a pharmaceutical company to kidnapping children and conducting strange rituals in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
This is sort of his origin for how his fall from humanity.
So that other story is basically the other thing that the mistress asked of him.
Honestly, I'm kind of guessing that. That was probably the favor that Creed conned him into basically corrupting him into doing this stuff. So basically it was all for father's love. He used his desperation and his grief of losing his daughter to so that they could get their machinations off the ground with some backing. So
mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to start with the next thing here. I start involuntarily. The hearth. Oh, sorry. I forgot the story. The way the story does present tense throws me off sometimes. But it does. I want to maintain. Or I want to highlight the story that it does maintain present tense the entire time, as far as I could tell. So no tense talk. You did it.
Yep.
But moving on to the actual quote here. I start involuntarily. The hearth, now burning merrily, was cold when I first sat down. I really liked this bit. Just now, Graydon realizing the fire wasn't on when he got into the room, but suddenly exists now to catch the devilish light of the intruder, Mr. Creed. Honestly, I really like the whole intro of Mr. Creed and this exchange. It has very strong deal with the devil setup. Like it's very much in line with like there's various media and various stories that like when you're dealing with like a devil who like is trying to make a deal with a mortal. There's always these like it's always like the introduction of the individual and like the whole kind of like showboating or like the sort of like it's almost like the showmanship of the devil as he subtly kind of like inserts himself into the situation, into the reality, is always just usually very like very fun. And this story, like the way this story like kind of showed Mr. Creed like kind of being there suddenly and striking this deal with Mr. Marks was just very like fun in terms of like a deal with the devil, like this whole like back and forth they have. So really appreciated that. The next thing I have, I will be brief, Mr. Marks. My name is Creed. I represent a certain party who have become aware of your daughter's plight, desires to offer assistance, and has dispatched me here to that end. So much like how earlier we had, Graydon Marks, like that's the owner of the pharmaceutical company, like then from like a couple of the other stories. So too, we have now Mr. Creed. We now have his. We now get to know a little bit more about Mr. Creed, or like get to see how he's involved in all this after hearing about him in Sarah's story previously.
Oh, I don't remember him previously being in a story.
He was the one that offered the job to like house sit or like maintain the house, the Wicker House, to Sarah's husband.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we were actually wondering like, I wonder like who this Mr. Creed is. Like, does he work for Lilith or does he like work for like he's something supernatural, right? Like, and then this basically all but confirms yes, he is some kind of like a devil or some kind of entity like that.
Yeah, he was just on the phone in that one, right?
He was on the.
Because I don't remember this dude being described before.
No, I think you're right. I think he was just on the phone. I don't recall him being like it. It's been a few weeks since we did that one, so I cannot remember the fine detail of like if he made an actual appearance. I think it was just on the phone. But yes,
it's not important.
No. Yes, Mikey, I heard that snicker.
He was basically demoted to a desk job.
Nice.
Yeah. Especially he got like, something must have happened where he's like, god damn it. Lilith's just like, listen, you're gonna have to like take phone calls. It's like I suppose I must. Just rips off his shirt, tattoos bearing. I suppose I'll sit here and take phone calls. Hello, this is Devilish Impacts or Lilith Compacts. How can I help you? Would you like to make a deal today? Anyway, moving on to the next thing I have.
Yes, please.
And second, a sacrifice. His hand moves, a small orb filled with a wispy substance appearing in his palm. As I watch, the vapor writhes and congeals until it forms recognizable shapes. Olivia's image looks back at me, hair unbound, joy in her smile. Love for love, death for life. I hesitate, his meaning clear. Can I sacrifice my wife for my daughter? She left. The voice in my head whines. The voice in my head whines. That is a hard word to pronounce.
I know, right? Indistinguishably, I believe, wasn't it?
The voice in my head whines.
No, it was. What word was it?
Insinuating.
Insinuatingly.
Yes. Yeah. The voice in my head whines insinuatingly about my thoughts. I mean, I don't condone his choice, but I do understand it here. He's desperate and grieving over the soon to be death of his daughter, and his wife while obviously also acting under grief herself, did basically abandon her family in like a moment of weakness. So Graydon's choice is dark and villainous in like how like quick he is to like, yes, I will sacrifice my wife for my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also realistic and like
While grieving, it's realistic.
Yeah, but you can see it, like you can see from his point of view, like how realistic this is to him. Like this makes sense to him, like, and that makes it believable, even though it is a wicked and vile choice or decision to make.
Yeah, it's like when like supervillains or any type of villain in a movie or whatever, when they're like just being bad for the sake of being bad, compared to them actually having motive, then you get it.
Yeah, like because we've read like the first part of the story where we get to see like some of that grief pouring in from like them trying to like save their daughter, and then like the wife leaves because she just can't deal with it anymore. Like that hurting. Like, I mean, that's, again, it's understandable. Like, again, and obviously she is also like doing that in a understandable but like irrational bout of grief and sadness. Like she doesn't want to face the reality that her daughter is going to die, and so she's rather like distance herself. Makes sense. Like that, people do that all the time, unfortunately. Like it is just an unfortunate part of life and death. But yeah, so like, but yeah, like you said, like this character isn't just like callously, yes, I will sacrifice my wife for my daughter. Like we because we get that context earlier, we like this makes this choice like vile but also understandable, is what I'm just getting at. Like, it was believable to me. But I'll move on to the next thing here. Creed reaches into his pocket and hands me a small likeness of a woman, carved from white stone. Hold this, it will direct you. I peer at the exquisitely detailed figure. Who is she? The All-Mother, the White Queen. She who will hold your debt. And at this point, much like the last two, it's like, Graydon, I know that guy from other stories. Creed, I know that guy from that last story that we covered. The All-Mother, the White Queen. I bet this is referencing Lilith from the Wicker Saga series, or like from the Wicker House, and like Figure in the Fog and all that stuff. Everything's coming together. Like there's like these nice little there's these nice little hooks that like are subtle enough. Like they're just like offhanded mentions. Like they have meaning. Both with the story being connected to those other ones, but also like they make the story like kind of lived in.
Yeah, for sure.
And also the story, like on this kind of subject, this story honestly I feel could be standalone. As if we didn't know that this was tied to the Wicker House saga, it wouldn't be a terrible read regardless, because like aside from the thing that's coming up, which I'm about to get to, but like the actual like the bulk of the story, like the whole like deal with the devil like story, like this actually would be a really decent like kind of just standalone narrative of like, again, a deal with the devil like sort of theme.
I'll tell you what, I'll prove that to you, because I did not remember any of these characters were brought up before. Absolutely not. I'm not even joking. Partially because like we're not reading these like in order, one after another. We're jumping ship repeatedly, and it's months in between Wicker sagas sometimes. So I forget a lot. My brain works sometimes. Sometimes it don't.
It's like much like my brain. Like I retain useless crap.
Yes.
Like years for years. Like I can like remember something. I can remember vivid memory of the most useless event or the most like innocuous event like years ago in fine detail. And then
like yesterday, it's like, what did I do?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and but like we've had this before, where you like again, you occasionally purge your memory, like your hard drive.
Yes, indeed.
So yeah, like I get, and again, we haven't been covering them. It's a long series of stories, and we do have like a schedule that like sometimes we have to get through some other things first. But
regardless, the upside of that,
fortunately, like again, that's why you guys have me to like remember shit.
Yes,
like,
for sure.
Stories, yeah.
And thankfully, an upside of me not remembering that these were characters previously brought up is I can tell you whether or not it stands on its own because I thought it was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
So again, kudos to the story for like being both like it is connected to the Wicker Saga series, like it does work as it like has strong connections, but also like it can work on its own merits, not
Yeah, for
just
sure.
that. So
It explains enough that you know who these characters are
exactly,
in
yeah,
the story
or
itself.
just like sprinkles it, yeah, like or sprinkles in enough that like it doesn't need to explain everything in fine detail or like remind you of thing. It just has to like
No.
oh well, who is this the All Mother, the White Queen, like she would like hold your dead. We know it's Lilith from the Wicker Saga series, but like that could be like just like again like his benefit, like Creed's benefactor. Like it could just be like the guys who hold his chain kind of thing. So like
Mhm.
we don't need to know necessarily for the sake of this story because Creed is the main devil making the deal.
Yeah.
But I digress. I'll move on to the next part of the story.
You want to skip it?
Nope,
It sounds like you want to.
We are going to cover it.
All right.
Starting with this quote. For several minutes, the only sounds are our rough animal grunts accompanying my wife's sobs. That's the only amount of time I'm going to give this story's visceral scene.
Yeah.
So, not gonna lie, I was not expecting this scene or its developments to happen. Like the scene where like when the wife gets like changed to the two pillars to be the sacrifice, I thought it was gonna be like I thought she was just going to be like just a sacrifice, like
Yeah, just killed.
like Creed is going to give Graydon a knife and he's just going to slit her throat or something like that,
Mhm.
and then like that's the blood sacrifice. I was not expecting
What we got?
the the visceral graphic couple of paragraphs that we got
Mhm.
before these, slitting of the throat and like the ripping out of the heart and stuff like that. I guess this would explain why the story has a not safe for work warning at the start of the story.
I'm not gonna lie. When I saw the not safe for work thing, and then it was showing up with like a demon showing up, and like the daughter who's like sick in bed, I'm like, oh god, what the hell are they gonna do to this freaking poor girl?
She just gets eaten by the shadow beast. Like, oh, that's not that very bad.
Yeah, I don't know.
People feel like that was like probably the most PG thing of this this
Yeah, it
ritual.
would have been. Yeah.
Just her getting like devoured by the shadow beast, and then like
Mhm.
yeah. So yeah. I just like to point, and so like yeah, like when I say like yeah, what I say, yeah, sacrifice, and yeah, so I just like to reiterate that what I commented earlier, that I don't condone, like I don't condone the father's choices.
No, of course not.
Wife did not deserve this.
No, no one does.
No. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna like really say about the I'm not gonna describe or like read any of the bits. Just like there is a graphic sexual assault scene in the middle of this ritual,
Mhm.
which is fine because this is horror. This is a dark thing. It's
Yep.
supposed to be. Just again, but I'll move on to the next thing I have here. Here's the next quote I have. Creed turns to me. His eyes have returned to their normal unnatural darkness. Come.
Phrasing.
I know. It may not be the most appropriate moment. We just discussed a pretty dark and visceral sacrifice scene with strong sexual assault themes,
Mhm.
but he already did.
Yep.
Just
Yeah.
a little, like
As
a
soon
little
as
bit
I
of
read that, yeah, as soon as I read that, I'm like, yeah, phrasing. Come on.
Yeah,
You could have picked any other word, but that one word did kind of, like alleviate what just happened a little bit,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
because
like,
it made me laugh.
yeah, like again, we're not making fun of this of a real kind of like terrible thing that people experience. It's just for the story, it did create some levity on an otherwise very dark situation.
Yes.
So Good job. Kind of.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then we get my next thing here. As the chant reaches its climax, the heart practically explodes with light before turning fluid and formless, a glorious counterpoint to the inky blackness of the earlier rite. Wow! After reading that earlier scene, this story suddenly just has a bunch of innuendos that I just cannot unsee.
Yep, a little bit.
Just, yep. That brainworm's in my head now. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Living there rent free now.
Yep. The gutter is just there. Again, no disrespect to people who suffer those issues, suffer like these sort of like things. Just again, this is the themes in a story, in a very dark and horror story. So
Yes.
Moving forward. Indeed, the only surprise I receive is a phone call that informs me that Olivia, not found dead as I had anticipated, has been admitted to a nearby psychiatric ward, practically comatose. My wife lives, if only in the strictest medical definition of the term. It is as if her spirit no longer resides in her body. I was like, so it was her mind and soul that were... Well, that is still horrible beyond words, but this is a horror story. Shit gets dark.
Mm-hmm.
And it is allowed to get dark because that is the whole like point of horror and horror stories.
Yeah, like if you're not uncomfortable watching or reading horror, then it's not doing its job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really all I have about this story. So Mikey, these stands for evil.
All right. Well, I'm going to be a little critically silly.
Go for
Please
it.
do.
We could use some levity right now.
This is at the beginning of the story. I enter the shadow-steeped room. So, I learned that shadow tea is a thing.
Okay. I'm assuming accidentally through Google not understanding what you wanted.
No, if you search shadow tea, there's a bunch of links about shadow tea. But, so the room is steeped in tea.
The steeping is what got you there. I see.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes. So, and I don't want to go into the details that have already been discussed because I mean, that's the main reason I don't like this is because of that event. Like, I like that we get supernatural, but in my mind, it goes too far.
And that's totally fair. Yeah.
I was expecting a ritual, a sacrifice.
You got that?
You're expecting the PG rated ritual that like a lot of media does, where it's just like, oh, like the maiden's just like her heart's just ripped out, or like her throat is just slit. That's it, and that's the end. This is like the kind of thing that this one portrays is also something that happens a lot in rituals in like dark horror stories and stuff like that. But that is not for everyone. Like,
yeah.
So you're
not reading Goosebumps.
Yeah, you not liking this part of the story is totally valid.
Absolutely,
it is not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then the other thing is that it could all just be a dream sequence.
And yes, and I mean it is kind of just a dream sequence, but it also happened, or it also affects the waking world because like her soul is now gone.
Well, the daughter could basically finally be cured because of the meds. Meds sometimes take a while to take effect.
You know, you do put a point because it does mention, like at the end, that like the doctors say that the cancer is in remission, not that it's miraculously completely gone from her body. Like it's like remission usually means that it's like it is not. I mean, I'm not a huge expert on like that kind of medical stuff, but like remission doesn't that usually mean like that it's slowing down or it's like shrinking, like the masses and stuff are shrinking, but like not
I think
gone.
yeah, I think it means it's starting to go away. Like
Yeah,
it's not a miracle and she's fully back to the way that she would if she never had in the first place, but it's basically he made it look like what they're doing is actually helping now.
yeah, exactly. And like it would, I think it would have been more supernatural, like definitely more overtly supernatural. Is like she came out of she came like bounding toward her with her golden locks still like flowing, like she no longer lost her hair, like she's almost as if she is like a healthy copy of the child that he was like preparing to put into the ground, basically.
Yeah.
Because like at the beginning, it's mentioned that like she's like through all the chemotherapy and all that stuff, like her like hair's falling out and she looks sickly. And then like she at the end of the story, like after the ritual's done, she's bounding with energy but it doesn't like show her like physically like, but like I assumed it was like a full physical transformation. But then when it mentioned that like the doctors said that her cancer was in remission, I suddenly realized, oh, like so she's still her. It's just like the cancer is actually subsiding or it's stopping or it's slowing down. And so, but like she still looks like she's a cancer patient.
Yeah.
Which is not what I originally kind of, I guess the situation that you had early on, like right at the beginning of the story, Gamer, where it was like, I thought one thing and then suddenly it was a different thing. But like, yeah, it should have almost been like, I think it would have been maybe stronger if it had been more of a supernatural, like, oh, she's a completely different, like she's a healthy good version of herself, like completely, and not just like it's completely gone. Because what Mikey's saying is like it feels like it's the magic basically made it so that it seems like this all could have been mundane, like mundanely covered up.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Because then they won't look into this, and this is how we don't know that supernatural stuff is going on in real life.
Now, unless, and Mikey, you might have this idea, but I'm sorry if for in advance. What if the ritual had nothing to do with that? And he just basically gave like the devil just tricked him into giving up his wife's soul.
Potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Like that whole like dream sequence, totally just a dream sequence ritual to get his wife's soul. Because the devil knew like Mr. Creed and like his benefactors knew that like, oh yeah, no, like this child's gonna be fine. Like the drugs stuff are gonna work. They just there's a delayed action. But we can just like trick this guy into saying, oh yeah, we can totally just magic this away.
Yeah.
Like, this is just guys, magic, science together. to getting us to do what he wants.
Wow. That is just silly.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that.
Magic science together to con this asshole.
Mm-hmm.
We get a favor from a big from a pharmaceutical company, and we also get his wife's soul for the as a trade-off.
It's win-win.
And all we gotta do is just fill this guy's head with magic.
That seems like something a demon would do. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that is 100% something a demon would do. Like give you just enough rope to hang yourself with, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know if that was where you were going with that, Mikey, but
yeah. Well, that works. Good. And that's the end of my actual thoughts.
Okay. Gamer.
Okay. Also, I looked up remission a bit because we were all kind of iffy about what it means. It's that what it says here is remission is a good sign, but it doesn't mean that cancer is gone forever. It's more complicated than being permanently gone with treatment because there's no way for doctors to know if all cancer cells are gone. Even in complete remission, there's a chance that the cancer will come back. But either way, it's kind of going away, but it's not instantaneous. It's just showing like the signs are gone.
Yeah. And I mean, again, the story could also like, they could have used that because again, like you said, like the doctors wouldn't know 100% if it's gone. But like that might also be the word for like it's miraculously just gone from her body.
Mm-hmm.
But
yes. Anyways, onto notes here. This first one here. Olivia and I kept Rebecca's disease quiet from even our closest friends, and only ones aware of her condition are the doctors, and they wouldn't talk for fear of a lawsuit. I don't know how they managed to keep that under wraps with her like feeling weak and like never being home from all the hospital time and hurting all the time, and especially with her losing her hair. That'd be a hard pill to swallow to like try to sell that lie, or at least hide it from all the other kids and adults around.
Well, again, like he's the CEO of a farm like a corporation. They probably just like kept her at home and didn't like let anybody see her and just like kind of made excuses.
I guess, yeah.
Like again, like they're rich. They don't have to worry about like necessarily a like her going to school or something. They can just take her out. Like if she survives, they can take her. They can get her back to school and get her on education. So
I suppose so.
Yeah.
But moving on to when they start doing the ritual thing and the giant like shadow dog thing comes out, shadow wolf, whatever it is. That thing's like almost adorable to me. Like I know it's not meant to be, but like when it describes it like sniffing like a dog investigating a smell, or its head like snapping up when it's called, it's very doggo.
Like if it had like tilted its head,
Yes,
it would have been even like it would have just like sealed the deal on like being adorable.
yes.
You know, after it like devoured the flesh of the child.
Yeah, but it's friend shaped.
Yeah. It's a buddy horror.
Yeah.
Yeah. M friend shaped. Don't make this any worse than it has to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, actually, all of my other notes were actually talked about, so I guess I'm done.
All right. Well, I suppose we'll move on to final thoughts then. Yeah, so like I said earlier, I will recommend, but conditionally. I will definitely warn about the more mature theme in the story, and perhaps select who I recommend this to.
Yeah.
Just because, like, yes, it is a horror story, but like, so there are certain material that does trigger people, even if they know that they're going into a horror story where they are going to be horrified, or like there's being disturbed or horrified for entertainment, but then sometimes like if you're not aware of the material you're tackling, that can kind of creep up on you and make the experience unpleasant. So yeah, so I would definitely like gauge who I'm recommending this story to, but like for the people that I feel could handle like can handle that kind of material, I would recommend this, because despite the more visceral and vile tone of the story, I did enjoy this tale of a deal with the devil. For that's really at its core, that's what it is. The tragic, dark story of a desperate father willing to do anything for his dying daughter. Also, while it has hooks from the other Wicker Saga stories, as we mentioned, it can easily stand on its own merits. So it works as another installment in the Wicker Saga because it adds extra background basically to certain characters that we encountered. Like, we now know a little bit more about the pharmaceutical company that's in the Wicker Saga series, and we know a little bit more about Creed. But you don't need to have read those stories. You could also just read this as a deal with the devil horror story. So yeah, that's why I will recommend this. It'll just be a conditional recommendation because of certain more mature dark materials that are in the story. So, Mikey, D stands for evil.
Yeah. So, as stated, I did like the sort of deal with the devil supernatural aspect of this story, but the fact that in my mind it takes it too far into the
into the real world, like skeevy, like went too far in one went way too far in one direction for you.
Yeah, and it sort of overshadows the positives enough that I can't recommend it.
Fair. And then Gamer.
Well, for me, reading it was kind of touch and go, honestly. The plot of someone, well, I guess it wasn't. It was the reason why I did it though. But the plot of basically someone dying of cancer is a touchy subject for a lot of people, me included. And considering the not safe for work warning at the top of that, as well. I was reading this like fully prepared to nope out of the story at any moment and just message you being like, I can't, I'm not doing this,
And that would have been totally acceptable. And
yeah. While the subject material of like cancer, murder, and rape are all horrible, I stuck with the story because at least I wanted to like see if it would justify it. With all the events happening, like just see what was going on with all this. I didn't want to just keep the image of beefy Creed man in my nightmares, so I wanted to get through it all so I could purge that, But yeah, the story itself, it read well enough. I did stumble hard right out the gate on that intro perspective shift, as I talked about. But even if I didn't, I still would only partially recommend it just because of the subject material. You really need to know who you're sending this to, and if you're recommending the whole of Wicker Saga, it might be like good to put like a note on potentially skipping this one if you know the person that you're recommending the whole saga to wouldn't handle this well.
Yeah, or at the very least, like here, like either like again, like you said, know who you're going to be recommending the Wicker Saga series to, and inform them like there's certain stories that do touch on darker themes, like because we also had another situation with that with the one, not Sarah's story, but the one that came before that you really didn't care for the darker kind of like family abuse material.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Frank,
right, yeah,
motherfucker.
Frank, yeah. Like, and again, like the story is did that to like show just how much of an asshole and bastard that man was.
Yes,
but it went a little like went more than you expected.
Yeah,
or wanted. So yeah,
mm.
yeah. The story, like again, these are horror stories, but you do need to like somebody for recommending them. They're also like a form of entertainment, so you got to like make sure you're not going to like traumatize somebody or like you're not going to like ruin somebody's day with, and I do quote unquote entertainment, or with this experience. So yeah,
for sure. But all in all, like the story, for all intents and purposes, was well written, and it was interesting, quote unquote, seeing the lengths that they go to do a ritual,
mm-hmm.
and like I didn't understand how like there's this giant shadow dog and he like Creed eats him, and then that's part of it. I'm like, how is that part of it? And then we see how that's part of it because it goes like into the sacrifice before the sacrifice is killed, and like birthed out of it basically.
Yeah, like the heart is basically turned into like the material to actually like
yeah. That whole like concept is neat. It's just the skeevy execution on it made me kind of but again, it's a horror story, so you're supposed to be feeling so I can't hate it too much for that, so I'm still leaving it a partial.
Yeah, it is sort of the double-edged sword of horror, like because horror, it's in the name.
Yes,
like it's like that, and a lot of creators, like authors and filmmakers and all them, sometimes they will like go to the extremes for that shock value or to like just demonstrate how horrific a theme is or something's going in, because that's the point. Like you're digesting a horrible situation in a safe manner. So,
yep.
But yeah, so partial recommendation.
Yep, I'll still give it a partial because it was still a good story. It's just it's a little skeevy.
Yeah, and I think again that's sort of the, it feels like the common like message for us is like, regardless of our recommendations, know who you're recommending this to, or
for sure,
story to, or like just be a little, don't just like send this to somebody without giving them a warning just in case.
Mm-hmm. And like I can't even hate on like the actions that happen because they're demons doing it. That's what they do.
Yeah,
that's why they're demonic and evil.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I guess one recommendation, a partial recommendation, and then a non-recommendation.
Just running the gambit again.
Running the gambit, but again, like it makes sense because of like the material, and again, reiterating. But despite those the recommendation and the partial recommendation, kind of gauge who you're recommending or partially recommending this to, and inform them of what they're about to get into, just in case. So, yeah, I think that'll do it for this week's episode. So if you like, if you like what you heard, or if you didn't, leave us a comment in the comment section below where this gets posted. Some of us are on Blue Sky. Mikey is at the E Stands for Evil, and I'm at Review Cultist. You can also send us emails at aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's ALDENTERIGAMORTIS@gmail.com. Or you can also leave us suggestions for other creepypastas, SCPs, spooky things. You creep it, we'll peep it. Yeah! And if you'd like to help support our show financially, you can go to Patreon. We have special episodes, early access, and extra content. To all our patrons that are helping support the show, thank you immensely. You're helping keep those hosting bills at bay. And as always, we very much appreciate that. And to our listeners and the authors of these stories, thank you immensely. Because without your listenership, it'd be like screaming into the void. And without your authorship, writing and posting these stories on the internet, we really wouldn't have much of a show because we'd have nothing to talk about. So thank you. Now's a good time to mention that we are a part of a podcast network, Crit in the Night, an actual play and creepypasta podcast network. We're there alongside our sister podcast, One Less Die, and our cousin podcast, The Role Playing Exchange, for things that go crit in the night. Until next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the E Stands for Evil.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
And this has been Al Dente Rigamortis. Sleep well.